Today's lesson, we're going to learn about simple armature and inverse kinematics. Very similar to the previous lesson, but we will incorporate, again, weight painting. And let's get started. All right, so we're just going to model a really simple finger. All right, and that's what we're going to animate. So I'm going to go to the side viewport right here. I'm going to turn on my X-ray mode, turn on screencast as well. All right, so I'll go to edit mode and I will simply just grab the top of this one and then just kind of move it up. And we can kind of change our plan later on depending on the length here. So I'll add first the two joints of the finger right here. Okay, and then we will position those with probably right there, because the joints right here will be double and then it keeps kind of growing and growing. Okay, so the length of that one, well, it'll be kind of like a cartoony finger, so we can get away with a lot of stuff here. Okay, next is I'm going to, and I'm in the side viewport right now, so I will do a control cut here, control R, loop cut, and another one right here. Oops, didn't mean to put it there. All right, let's kind of move that right there. So now if I move this in, we can kind of get that kind of finger, at least side finger look to this. It'll be a cartoony fat one. So all right, right there. And all right, so if we look at it, kind of look like this. If I go to the front right now, we can start kind of tapering. All right, so I can just kind of rotate this a little bit, and I'm not using any kind of reference here. I'm just making sure that it's not too wild. All right, so I did a loop cut there in the center, and then right here I can start kind of rounding off the tip right there. Okay. All right, so let me turn off my X-ray mode. Let's take a look here. I will move this down like so. We're going to create kind of like the fingernail right there. All right, now that we've got all those positioned, I'm just going to grab this down here and then scale it so that it's tapered a bit. Okay, and finally another loop cut right here, and there we have it. Okay, the bottom part, yeah, let's move this as well. This one right here, I'm just gonna taper that a little bit and then move it up a bit. All right, so there's kind of like our cartoony finger. Okay, and let's select the faces right here. All right, and then I will press I for inset polygon. All right, and if we go to the side right here, there are several ways we can do this. We can do an extrude, so it goes in a bit, and then I can extrude it out like so, and then just kind of pull it a little bit forward. Kind of simulates kind of like a fingernail, and taper that as well over there. Okay, and what else? Maybe point mode right here. We can grab those right there, pull this down, All right, so that probably will do it. So let's add a subdivision surface 2 by 2 right here, shade smooth it. All right, so there's our little stubby finger model. Okay, and let's give it a material. So definitely we will have our kind of like skin tone. Let me go to preview mode right here. All right, let's darken that a little bit. And let's give it a subsurface. Okay, and then we can use kind of like the subsurface color right here. Okay, that's kind of good enough for now. And we're going to select the fingernail. I'm going to click the plus sign right there so that we pretty much get everything, and then I will just simply assign this color. And let's take a look. All right, there we have it. So that's our little kind of, let me do a little bit of maintenance right here. So let me select those edges right here, the one been underneath the fingernail. Oh, not that one. And that one right there. I'm just gonna try to kind of pull those down and towards down here a bit, just so that the fingernail has like a little place right there. All right, and we'll probably give it a little bit of sort of shading right here, darken it a bit, and this is definitely translucent as well, so it just kind of shows what's underneath. All right, cartoony enough. There we have it. So if I go to the side viewport right here, we can start with the armature. Okay, and we're gonna do our paint weight as well. All right, so let's get our armature, add armature, and it's in there somewhere. So while it's selected, I'm gonna go to the armature section right here, go to the viewport display, and then make sure it says in front so we could actually see it. It's right here at the bottom. I'm in object mode still, so I'm just going to put this down here. I'm going to go to my overlays over here, and I'm going to put a check mark on the wireframe so that we could kind of see where the joints will be. Okay, so we need one right here, another one over there, and then all the way to the tip right there. Okay, so I'm now going to go to the edit mode, and if I go to the front right here, it's dead center. That's what we want. All right, so here to the side, I'm just going to position this right here, and I'm kind of giving it not straight formation right here. I'm angling it a bit so that when I extrude this, we kind of give it like an inclination on when to kind of rotate and whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to press E. So it's kind of going that way, and then finally outside, and then I'm just going to add another one right here, just so that this is our kind of like controller. Okay, put it this way or whatever. Just kind of stick out so it's easier to grab and move. Okay, so let's take a look at this and start naming them. Okay, so this one right here, this is the let's just say joint 1. Okay, joint 01. Then this one is joint 02. This one is joint 03, and then this is the finger controller. All right, finger controller right there. Okay, now while we're in edit mode, this is where you parent and unparent. You don't do that in post mode. Post mode is when you set up your constraints. Okay, so I'm going to do Alt P here, clear the parent, so that's independent now. And we're almost ready to do our rigging. So first is, let's go to our model right here. And let's talk about the areas where you're going to need more deformation. So definitely this one is a joint, and you don't want to just leave this as one joint here. You might get some weird deformation. So I'm going to do Control R. I'm in edit mode. I'll be in edit mode. There we go. And then here I'll just let me turn off my wireframe here. Okay, I'm just going to do Control R or Command R to kind of, I guess that would work right there. I can put it kind of like in the middle between the joints right there, or I mean the segments. And then here, add some more. All right, so basically I do want a little bit more properties right here where I'm going to be creating some animation, right? And let's see, one last kind of maintenance with her modeling here. So I'll just kind of make that a little bit smaller, that one. So this is the problem when you have OCD, you just keep, you don't stop. All right, right there. Promise we'll stop right there. Should be good enough. All right. Okay, right there. Okay, so now we're good. Okay, and now let's set up our bones. So I will go to select the bone right here. Okay, and let's save this real quick before if it crashes. So finger IK. All right, so I'm in object mode. I selected the bone. So now I'm going to go to pose mode. This is where we're going to kind of select our, create our inverse kinematics. So I'm going to select this one because that's our controller. So it's the bone after it. So I'm going to go to add bone constraint, inverse kinematics. All right. And then for this one, we're just going to select the target will be the armature because we only have this armature right here and we didn't rename it. It's called armature. And then the bone target is which one is the controller basically. So the finger controller, that one right there. And then the chain length, we got 2 right here. Because let's put that to 0 just so that you see what happens. So when I move this, okay, it actually would work right there. But if we have anything more underneath, then we would be limiting it. All right, so right there, so 2. So if I add another one, then there we go. So this bone, you can kind of see where the movement will be. It's going to be kind of like this. All right, and position wise, we just kind of put it dead smack center right there. Even though we could have moved that a little bit further to the right, it would still work. All right, so so the setup is armature, finger control. We got chain length of 3 chains from the controller, and we can move it like so. Okay, we're not putting any kind of like a foot roll or a finger roll controls or anything. It's just so that we can learn some weight painting as well. Okay, so now to pair 2 together, be in object mode, select the finger first, then shift click any part of the bone. Okay, after that it's like parenting, Control P to parent, but we are just going to use automatic weights. So that means Blender will use whatever wherever mesh closer to the bone area to automatically just kind of connect the 2 together with automatic weights. There it is. So now if I go to select the bone right here and then go to pose mode and press G, as you can see, there it is. Okay, and we probably have a little bit of issue right there with the parenting, but overall it looks pretty good. So it's like a little creepy finger animation now that you can just do all that stuff. So to reset it to the way it was before we parented or moved it, select the bone or any parts of the bone that you move, and then Alt G or Option G, it will just reset. Okay. All right, let's take a look at our weight painting here. So I'm going to go to object mode, select the finger, go down here, and then go to weight paint. Okay, and I'm going to go here in the solid mode. Okay, you'll see all your weight paint bone selection down here at the data property, and you'll see all this. All right, one thing I forgot to do is this finger right here. I forgot to do that. My bad. Actually, this one, when you're putting this in edit mode, when we were doing all the here the bone, make sure this one is unchecked, so it will not be part of the deformation. Okay, meaning it's not influencing, since this is not a bone that controls the rotation of the joint. It's just to control them in an IK environment. You don't want this thing being a deformer. Okay, so this one, so you can see it's check, check, check. Now that we remove the deformation on it, we should be good regarding painting. Okay, so I'm going to go here, go to weight paint. Okay, and then we go to our data property right here. Finger is not part of it, so you can see joint 1, 2, and 3 right here. They don't have any, and finger doesn't have anything. So when it's blue, there's no influence. When it's red, it's 100% influence. Anything in between that color would be a shared kind of environment. Okay, shared area right there. So Blender did a great job actually. So let's go to 1 right here, and actually, to do this properly, let's grab this bone, go to pose mode, and actually pose it so that way you can see where the possible issues will be. Keep in mind this is low poly, even though we added some subdivision surface, and you can turn those on and off. Okay, so let's go back to object mode, select the finger, go back to weight paint right here, and the brush right here, this is where you tell it what to do. You got your strength. Usually I don't go 100% on that one, so that I have a little leeway with brushing. Okay, so with here, so let's say we just want to make sure that we're on add. All right, so we're on add right here. So anything that we want to be on joint 1, we would paint red. Okay, so I'm on add. So if I press F right here, that just kind of changed my radius. Okay, so I'm going to undo this, but so joint 1 is the bottom. So if I accidentally paint here and it turns red, you can see it's starting to influence that. It's trying to grab it and pull it, which is not what you want. Okay, so right here, I'm just kind of painting here at the bottom, making sure that everything in here should be red. It should be, because weight paint's automatic weight paint does a good job. However, on joint 2, this is the main influence for this one, but it's not red. So that means it's sharing a lot of its mesh with the other bones. So it's getting influenced by the neighboring bones, joint 1 and 3. So I will paint this some more, like so, to strengthen the area of coverage. Okay. All right. So probably did that a little too much right there, hence creating a. Let me undo that. Okay, maybe I'm gonna try lower my brush size right there, and then just kind of. All right, because I do like the deformation here. It's not like it's well, yeah. Let's fix that properly. So I'm gonna go closer to that. Go closer to the joint itself. There we go. Because and right here, it's not bad. You know, when the paint distribution is pretty bad when you don't get the deformation that you would expect when you move your bone. All right, so now let's go to joint 03. Same thing. Definitely the finger area right here. You don't want that thing deforming. That thing is hard, supposedly, even though it's a cartoony one. All right, so we're just kind of painting the area right here where the finger or the fingernail area is supposed to be influenced by joint 03 bone. All right, there we go. Let's go back to joint 1. Let's kind of make sure here, same thing right here. So we're going to get close to the joint area. Oh, undo. I might have just kind of be careful with your brush when it comes to this area right here. Okay, so I'm just kind of, oh. So you can lower your brush size or you can zoom in. All right, so just gonna kind of click here to paint. Keep in mind this is low poly, and that's part of the what's struggling with the painting is that we don't have enough geometry. So, but we're keeping it kind of low poly. All right, so there's that kind of, that's a good looking one right here because it's getting control influenced by other area. Okay, so I'm gonna go change this one now to subtract. So we want to make sure that the joint 3 doesn't influence any part of this bone. So, all right, so I'm just going to painting it blue right here so that it stays basically where it's at. So joint 2, it's a lot of influence that it's doing right here. So I'm just kind of getting rid of all those. And here as well, remember the joint 03 where the fingernail is, you don't want joint 2 influencing any of that part with a fingernail, especially because that's supposed to be rigid, right? All right, so I'm going to go over here and kind of paint this area a little bit more. Let's turn on our wireframe right here so you can see better the lines where the influence area is. Let me lower my radius a bit and just kind of give this back to joint 01 right there. Oops. All right, and we're seeing the kind of like the effect of low polygon. You know, it's just not enough influence. I mean, not enough geometry to kind of. There we go. That's a good one right there. And then subtract right here. Let's give back the top area right here. Okay, and then joint 2, I'm going to switch back to add. Want to make sure that this area right here that belongs to it really does belong to joint 2, like this part. All right, let's take a look. It looks a little stiff right here. Yeah, because of let's go to joint 3 and make sure we have no influence. Subtract right here. All right. Okay, that looks pretty bad right there. So this is your blur brush. Okay, I'm gonna go back to kind of yeah, so just kind of, it's an automatic kind of mix. I don't have to change my brush size. I do want to kind of soften the one right here, so this is way too sharp of a. All right, let me go back here to draw. We can smear, let's see. It's getting joint 3 as red. All right, that's, oops. That's a little better. It's still pretty sharp though, because there's no geometry in between, so that's probably the main issue here. So let me try and go to edit mode and see. All right, so this is where it's kind of happening. Let me see if I add a Control R right there, and then another one right here. So might as well do it here, where those joints will be. Go to object mode, go back to weight paint. All right, so now that there's a line right there in between. All right, so let's see. Okay, all right, that's better. It's kind of coming out a little bit. It's before, like, it's way too sharp. All right, I'm going to switch back to this one so I can control what gets added. So joint 3, definitely we want a little bit here. Okay, and then I'm going to switch it to mix. So it will kind of relax that a little bit. All right, let's see what joint 2 is kind of doing here. So let me, not what I want. We're on mix and joint 3. Let me go to, let me make sure here. I'm just going to go subtract and then joint 2. Let me see, there we go. That got rid of the influence there and giving us a little bit of a nicer bend right there. All right, that should do it. Let's go back to object mode. Let's go back to this one. Let's turn off our wireframe and let's select the joint, the armature, go to post mode, select the controller. So I'm in flat. Okay, so there it is. We added a significant amount of geometry, almost double the rings on the joint, but it looks pretty good. Okay, you can do paint weighting on this one. That white color is freaking me out, so let's fix that a bit. I know it's just, all right, so let's see. On the blood side, maybe our subsurface is way too much. Then I can lower this, then make this one brighter. Okay, good enough for now. Okay, so it's not like pure white. All right, so now you can animate this jumping and then doing its thing, whatever it is you want. But let's try and do our automatic keying right here. So when you automatically keyframe this, and you're holding this guy down right here to kind of move it, whatever you do gets recorded. Okay, so, and I'm kind of like in freeform mode right now. I'm not in a flat viewport or anything like that. So, all right, so I'm just going to go like so. We're going to click on auto keyframe. We're on frame 1. I tap the space bar, and then when I move this, this is all being recorded. Okay, see all those keyframes in there? All right, so, and this is me just playing it back. Okay, let's hide all the, all right, so it's like kind of real-time puppeteering. Okay, not recommended though, because if you just kind of want to do this, you got a bunch of fingers in the background and you want them to just kind of be kind of dancing and whatnot. Yeah, because that's a lot of keyframes right there, but it can be done. All right, so that's rigging, really simple IK in a nutshell, and weight paint.